Mastering your money in your late teens, your 20s, and your 30s can be a game changer for the rest of your life. In this video, I'm going to be laying down the game plan that they never taught us. I don't know about you, but they never taught me this in school. My parents never taught me this either. So these are things that I have learned in my own life as I have gone through it here. I'm 32 years old, so I've already been through my late teens, my 20s, and I'm kind of starting on my 30s here. And I've learned a thing or two along the way, which I'm going to be sharing with you guys. Especially if you're younger, you definitely will be able to take advantage of this and take action. So I'll tell you this, if you're in your 20s and your 30s and you're trying to figure out this whole money thing, you are in the right place. Now, I'm going to do a huge disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor in any way, shape, or form. Just a random guy making videos on YouTube. So take this with a grain of salt and do your own research. Today, we're going to be talking about something that could literally change your future. That is mastering your money in your 20s and 30s. Because here's the truth. You don't need to be rich to start building wealth. It's as simple as that, right? Most people think, well, once I win the lotto, once I inherit some crazy amount of money from grandma or something, then I'll go ahead and start investing. But that is a recipe for disaster. So you definitely want to get started. The reality is you do want to be intentional about everything, intentional about saving, intentional about investing, intentional about tracking where your money goes. And these are some of the things we're going to be talking about in this video. So whether you're broke, whether you're building, whether you're balling already, this is for you. Let's jump in. Now, the first money habit I want to talk about is why money habits early on matter. Let's start with the biggest money myth of all, the I'll figure it out later excuse. Well, let me tell you, the I'll figure it out later means that later is going to cost you more, later is going to be riskier, and later is going to be slower, right? The money moves you can make today are 10 times more powerful than anything you can do 10 years from now. That's just the reality. Why, you're probably wondering? Well, because of compound interest, right? This thing called compound interest, you probably have heard of at some point, and if not, well, you're in for a treat. Let's take an example, right? Let's say that I invest $100 a month starting at age 22. But then a friend of mine waits until 32, right? 10 years later. Well, even if they invest double what I do later, I'll likely have more money at retirement. That is the power of time. And compound interest works with time because the rule of 72, in case you guys don't know, says that your money doubles every 7 years. Well, the longer your money's in the market and the more 7 years that stack up on top of each other, right, the longer your money is going to grow. It's as simple as that. But the reality is, it's not about how much money you have. It's about how much time your money has. That's really what it comes down to. Building strong money habits also means you avoid lifestyle inflation. Like most people these days, right? They see the next flashy thing. There's the I gotta have it now, YOLO mentality, FOMO, fear of missing out. Building strong money habits also means you'll learn how to make smarter money decisions. You also gain confidence that spills over other areas of life. So starting to understand money and really get into the money game, the money lingo, how money works earlier on in life is really going to pay off huge dividends for you later in life. Or you don't have to wait until you're old, or you don't have to wait until you're struggling to learn about this stuff. The best time is now. So if you start now, you learn now, right? You can always adjust later, but definitely don't wait. The next thing that definitely benefits most late teens, folks in their 20s and 30s, is budgeting without feeling broke. Budgeting is huge. It is an amazing tool that if you implement is going to, like Dave Ramsey said, right? The budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. And that's just our reality. Most people get paid and then, a few days later after getting paid, they're absolutely broke again. They wonder where their money went. I don't know. I've been there myself at some point in my life. I know you probably have too. But when you budget, right, you're basically telling your money where it needs to go. Budgeting typically gets a bad rep for some reason. People think that it means that you can't enjoy life. Oh, if I'm counting pennies here and there, that must mean that I can have fun. But that's not true. The real truth about budgeting is that it gives you freedom. It gives you clarity. It gives you permission to spend on what actually matters to you. Now, let me give you an example, right? Let me show you a simple rule that just works. It's the 50-30 rule. This rule says that if you take 50% and apply it to your needs, right? This is going to be your rent, your food, all your bills. That leaves you with the other 50%, which then you can divide into 30 and 20. 30 goes towards your wants, meaning you can have fun, travel, right? Even the Amazon Prime impulse buys. And then that leaves you with 20% that goes towards saving and investing. Even donations, right? Your church tithes, things like that. Now, it won't be perfect, but it's a powerful framework to give your money purpose. Most people don't know what to do with their money because there's other people out there. I think I've heard this from Dave Ramsey as well. All the commercials, all the companies you see ads from, they'll have a plan for your money. So unless you create a plan for your money yourself by budgeting, right, you're going to end up just using it or spending it on the wrong things. So the goal isn't perfection, but the goal is progress. Here's a challenge for you. Maybe you've been budgeting before and it has had an impact for you. Let me know in the comments. Or maybe you haven't tried it at all. I encourage you to try it for at least 1 month. Track all your expenses, track all your money going in and out, and you'd be surprised, right, how much money you're spending on things that you could definitely cut back on. Also give you the ability to automate your bills if you can, automate your savings, like choose a specific amount that you can absolutely confidently save every month and just set it on autopilot, automatic transfers every month, and you're good to go. You don't have to worry about saving because it's already happening in the background without you having to worry about it. And then you can even save to have a fun fund, to play on words, fun fund, and you can actually use it, right? Use it guilt-free because you know all your other areas are taken care of. Your bills are taken care of, your needs, your saving and investment, and then you can, have some fun with the remaining money. Now, this is a perfect segue to the next point, and that is saving first and spending later. Most people live life by this formula. Most people have their income, they spend it, and then they rarely save anything that's left. Now, the formula is broke math. All it gives you is you're not getting ahead financially anytime soon, pretty much. That's the outcome. Now, here's the winning formula. The winning formula is you get your income, you save first, aka you pay yourself first, and then you spend the rest, right? Think of saving as the big bill that needs to be paid first. And if you can set it automatically on autopilot, even better, because that money would not even touch your account. It would get saved and therefore invested without you having to worry about it. That is the way to do it, right? That is the idea of saving first or paying yourself first and then spending. The idea behind all this, guys, is that saving shouldn't be optional, right? We're living difficult times. Things seem to get more and more expensive every day. We have rising inflation. The dollar's losing value every day. So you definitely want to save and invest. This is not something you want to put off. This is not something that you want to gamble with. This is your future at stake, right? If you don't take this serious. Should be automated, of course. That's the best way to do it. Set up an auto transfer from your savings account for every payday. So your check comes in, your direct deposit or what have you, and then that same day, the specific dollar amount that you are comfortable with based on your budgeting, which we talked about before, is going to go towards this savings account every single paycheck. So it's happening automatically. You don't even have to stress about it. And you'll be surprised after a couple months or a couple years, you'll have some money saved in there that could be a great source for emergencies, which we know are going to happen. By the way, I got laid off last month. That's an emergency. That's a 911 right there. And then, it was thanks to a little bit of an emergency fund that I have that I've been able to really even consider doing this YouTube thing full time, which, by the way, I actually decided on doing, right, a few videos ago. I got laid off in June. I also posted a video on how much I made last month with YouTube, AdSense income, and also affiliate income as well. So definitely check out that video. I'll have it linked down below if you guys want to check it out and learn more. But definitely, you're not saving for no reason. You're saving for emergencies, opportunities, and even peace of mind, right? Just knowing that if the worst comes to worst, you have something to fall back on. A good emergency fund should always be around 3 to 6 months of expenses. If you can do more power to you. Once you have a good emergency fund in place, that's really when you want to look into investing. And obviously, we can go into that in more detail in a future video. But because life punches you in the face, you want cash, not credit. So save first. Your future you will thank you later. Now, the number 4 tip for my late teens, 20s, and 30-year-olds out there, guys, is understanding the difference between good debt and bad debt. Right? Most people think debt is just debt, period. But let's talk about the D word, debt. Now, not all debt is bad, but not all debt is good either. And here's a breakdown. A good debt is typically tied down to growth. Think of like a student loan with a high ROI degree, meaning you're going to end up making a lot higher of income once you get that degree and you get a job in that career, in that field that you study and got the degree for. Could be a loan for a profitable business that is cash flowing, that is making income, that ideally you'll be able to pay off this loan and end up with the asset that is the money generating asset, whether it be the degree or the business. Can even be a mortgage, right? Like a house. Most people's biggest financial investment is their mortgage, is their house. So those are all considered or can be considered good debt. What is bad debt? Well, bad debt is lifestyle debt. Think like credit cards for fast fashion, right? You got to have the latest shoes, the latest Jordans just dropped, or the latest video game console just dropped. I got to pick that up. The latest iPhone, buying an iPhone on installment plans, even though your 2, 3 generations ago iPhone is still okay. The idea of buy now, cry later energy is really making people go into debt for no reason, right? This FOMO, this fear of missing out, that, they have to have a better car because, I want to impress people, or I want, have the latest tech gadget or this or that or whatever. Some things to keep in mind here, guys, if you have any sort of credit card debt, is knowing your interest rate. Most credit cards often have 20+% interest. And that's honestly draining your future. Say you had a little bit of money invested in the market, maybe S&P 500 making 7 to 8% return a year, but then you're also paying 20+% on a credit card in interest. That's like trying to fill a bucket with a bunch of holes, right? You're never gonna get it filled up. So it's as simple as this, right? Don't buy things just to look successful. There's no faking it till you make it, trying to look rich to impress people, right? If you actually become rich, that's great. The goal is to become rich, not look rich. And if you can't buy it twice, you probably can't afford it once. It's also a good rule to live by. If you're looking at, let's say, the latest PlayStation, right, costing $500, $600, whatever the dollar amount is. If you can't afford to buy it twice, then you probably can't afford to buy it once. It's a good principle to live by. Also, you can sleep it off. Most people get the anticipation of purchasing something the night before, and then, up until the moment when you purchase the item, right? That's when the dopamine really peaks. And then you get delivery of the product, and it's like, okay, whatever. Now I got this new item. But sometimes you can sleep it off, maybe wait a day or two, or maybe a week or so, and then ask yourself, did I really need that thing? You can also build your credit score by using credit cards wisely. So make sure you pay them off at the end of each month and never carry a balance just to build credit, right? And I'm using air quotes right here. So credit is good, but you don't want to just, carry a balance, pay high interest just to build credit. Focus on this mindset, use credit, don't let credit use you. Okay. The last and final tip I got from my late teens, 20 and 30-year-olds out there is making more money building income streams that grow with you. Guys, the truth is, even most successful people out there will tell you the name of the game is having multiple streams of income. And the average millionaire has 2 to 3+ income streams. So let's be real, you can't budget your way into wealth. If your income stuck at zero, then you got some work to do. So here's a question, right? How do I make more money? You're probably wondering, right, where do I start? What do I do? Definitely a good question to have. And also not just now, but long term. What are going to be some really good ways to build these different income streams, thinking long term, thinking into the future, etc. So couple of nuggets to share with you. You can learn a high income skill. Think like content creation. That's exactly what your boy is doing right here. Hey, holler at you. You can learn coding. You can learn marketing. You can learn design, sales, right? These are skills that work across all industries. You can even start your own side hustle, right? You don't need to launch a startup. Just try something that earns money outside of your 9 to 5. It could be building a car wash business. It could be starting a lawn mowing business. It could be a food truck, right? Anything like, and any of this, side hustle outside of your 9 to 5 can be a good way to have some additional income streams. You can also monetize what you already know. Are you good at something, right? Ask yourself, what am I good at? If you can teach it, if you can package it, then you can absolutely sell it. You can also create before you consume. I talked about this before here on the channel. If you can write, if you can post, if you can build, and you can share, we are living in the golden age of social media. A lot of people just focus on blindly consuming left and right. They're just consuming. But the internet tends to reward creators, right? It's the creators, the ones that are paying their bills, they're making the dough. So a good rule of thumb is if you're trying to get ahead in life, track how much time you're spending on social media. And if you are consuming more than you're creating, then you probably ought to tip the scales in your favor, and you got some work to do in that department. Lastly, you can also build assets, not just hours. So that's like digital products, that could be investing, real estate income, affiliate marketing. And hey, listen, I just posted my video last month of how much I made with YouTube and affiliate marketing, right? This is like making money in your sleep, which I absolutely love. And these are things that really scale pretty well over time, things that can grow very well into the future. So I'm just fired up, excited about all this. So building assets, good resource right here would be the Robert Kiyosaki Rich Dad Poor Dad, which really focuses on acquiring assets and reducing liabilities. Assets put money in your pocket, liabilities take money away from your pocket. It really comes down to that. Your late teens, your 20s, your 30s are the perfect time to build, right? You don't want to wait until you're 50, 60 years old to do these things, right? Let's just mature up a little bit, right? Let's get real. Now you're young, you got all the energy, you got all the flexibility, and guess what? Something that some generations ago didn't have, you have the internet. That's a dangerous combination right there in a good way. So I really hope this has been valuable, you guys. So let's bring it home, guys. Mastering your money in your late teens, 20s, and 30s isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. You want to be proactive, not reactive. It's about building habits that give you more options, not more stress. I absolutely love this picture that shows that you could have a easy life now, but a harder life later based on the money decisions that you make. Or you can make some harder money decisions now, but really set you up for success and have an easier life later. So something for you to think about, right? Some food for thought. Now, I will tell you this, the earlier you start, the less you have to hustle later on. You don't need to be rich to get started. I hope that has been pretty clear to everyone. You just need to get started and you eventually will become rich. If this video helped you guys, give it a like, drop your biggest lesson in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more real world tips and personal growth, finances, and building your best life. Thanks for watching. Keep growing, keep learning. Know that I want you to be successful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.